Howdy, guys. Welcome to the last Monday of 2020. And boy, am I happy to say that. I'm ready for 2020 to come get to us as quick as possible. I'm sure a lot of y'all are feeling the same way. Guys, I hope y'all are all doing fantastic. Cindy, Anthony, Betsy, David, Angie, all of my buddies are out here. I hope y'all are doing fantastic. Welcome to not only the final Monday of 2020, but the final Cliff Notes of 2020. But that's all right. We'll be right back. But be 2021 before you know it. And again, I am very happy for that as well. I hope y'all are doing well. I hope if you're sitting here listening, I guess you made it through Christmas celebrations and the holiday. Of course, that's still going on. We've got a little New Year's coming up. It's going to be different. I don't know about y'all, but my family tradition has always been that wherever we are, except before the wife and nightclubs and all that, but since marriage and a little more family life and all that, sitting at home and watching Ryan Seacrest or whoever, Anderson Cooper, whoever we happen to be watching, but watching Times Square and the ball drop and New Year's Eve. And I heard they're not doing it this year, or at least they're not doing it with all the millions of people there in Times Square. It'll just be a little more sedate than it normally is. I'll say that I'm kind of getting off on a tangent before I even go, but I'll mention this. We watch Times Square in New York and all that, and that's fun. But we also have a lot of fun watching Univision and watching some of the New Year's Eve celebrations on the Spanish channel. And they're down in Mexico City and different locations around the Spanish-speaking world. But they have a lot of fun. They really enjoy their New Year's Eve. It gives me a chance to practice my Spanish as well. So anyway, getting ahead of myself, I was going to actually talk about that a little bit later. But no, we love the celebrations. And again, it may be a little more quiet, a little more calm this year. But I think a lot of people are going to be happy to say goodbye 2020 and hello 2021. Now, I kind of I should have done this at the very start, but again, I got ahead of myself. But let me just start off by saying SKD143, love my wife, love my kids, love all the fellow Big Brother fans out there. Love all y'all. They're sitting there. Thank you for joining in. For those of you who've watched before, welcome back. Thank you for coming back. For those of you that are new, we do it every Monday night. And again, it's kind of an open forum. Whatever y'all have got in mind, I'll talk about. I got a few things that I figured I'd mention, but for the most part, if y'all got something special, just fire away at the questions, and as quick as I can read, I'll answer. And if I don't read one, it's probably because I just couldn't scroll fast enough to keep up with it. But I try. I try every time. So 2021 equals 2021. Yeah, no, I'm sticking with the numeral and not the WON on that one. Who would have thought 2019? I mean, y'all got to picture it from my side. I'm working. I'm just a regular old guy working, and suddenly I get yanked over to LA. I get thrown into this house. Suddenly I got millions of people watching me do the right moves, the wrong moves, whatever. But everyone's watching me 24 hours a day. How could 2020 be any more strange than 2019 was? And yet, here you go. And this time, y'all all get to share it with me. Let's see what happens in the new year. It's funny because when I was a kid, say in the 70s or so, thinking about the year 2000 was like, wow, I'm going to be old by the year 2000. The new century, that's going to be so weird. But then 2020 was what we thought about when we were really thinking about, oh, that's going to be so far in the future that I can't even imagine. We'll be flying around in space cars by then. 2020 was always just the vision of the far future when I was younger. And I would have never been able to guess that in the year 2020, we went through what we went through this year. But hey, you know what? It makes us stronger. And it's good practice for whatever else may happen down the road, right? All right, enough of that. Let's get back on topic a little bit. Parker, I was saying, did I see the catfish Cliff Curse 2020? Yeah, that's right. I ought to keep hold my tongue and not do the same thing next year. Parker, yeah, did you see the new catfish episode with Russell and Cowboy Ellis? Oh my gosh, yeah, that was that was tough. Michael, and I don't want to spoil it for those of you who haven't seen it, but yeah, Michael found himself a new girl who apparently had also had some contact with Russell and James Hewling, and there was some question about how sincere she was, and what was she who she said she was, or someone completely different? And I've always heard about catfish. I mean, I've heard about catfishing as a topic, and I've heard about the show itself. And I know Neve was on Dancing with the Stars, and I watched that and everything. But I hadn't really watched the show before. It was very interesting, especially because I know all of those. But yeah, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, catfish is basically when someone talks to you online and they're portraying themselves as a certain someone, typically a young woman. Doesn't always have to be the case. There's all kinds of catfishing goes on, but someone who's portraying a whole different personality will never talk to the person by voice, by video, things like that. And then it turns out that they're someone that you weren't expecting and not necessarily wanting to be on the other end of that computer, wherever they may be. And so that was what Michael Cowboy was dealing with. And so the hosts of this program are helping him figure out, is the young woman he's talking to really who she says she is, or someone different? And it's a TV show it's on MTV, right? I think it's MTV. And and that's what this show does. Every week they find someone else who's questioning whether what's going on is valid or not. This one was interesting though, because it was Big Brother based issues. And I got to say, as soon as they mentioned this person's name that was possibly catfishing Michael and had reached out to Russell and James and everyone else, I immediately went and checked on my followers to see if I maybe had that same person that had been trying to talk to me. Didn't see her. I guess she knew I was a taken man, and so she left me alone. And I wasn't happy that I didn't see her out there. But anyway, it's interesting. It's very interesting. It is funny because they talk about on there that this person had reached out to several people within the Big Brother community. And you do have, I mean, 95% of the people that reach out to me and talk to me are incredible people. But you get a few people here and there that kind of are a little different, a little more seeking attention, or a little more asking a little bit stranger questions sometimes and all that. So yeah, it makes for an interesting experience. But anyway, it was a great show. So, but again, I'll move on to something else. But if you haven't seen it, I'm sure MTV plays it over and over again. So go out and check Catfishing with Michael Ellis and Russell and all of that. And so let's see. Oh, Cindy, what's this? Let me scoot back up. You got diagnosed with COVID for Christmas. Well, Cindy, I am sorry. I hope, I know for most people, it turns out not to be too severe. I hope you're one of those people, and that this is something that, other than a loss of smell and taste for a little bit, hopefully that's all that happens, and you're back on your feet before no time. But I'm sorry. That does not sound like you didn't get coal in your stocking. You got COVID. I maybe would take coal over. Right. So I'm sorry, but I hope you're feeling better, Cindy. Let me know next week. Well, let me know now if you're feeling better. I hope it's a quick one for you. It's rough. Just when you think maybe we're getting done with it, we get this next wave coming in, and I worry about here in a couple of weeks. Everyone got together for Christmas, or a lot of people did. So I wouldn't be surprised to see another wave again. But I hope yours is the light version of it, Cindy, and that's all there is to it. Carol, I think Josh is an idiot. Again, he boldface lied about Casey crying. Casey needs to get away from Josh. All right, for those who don't know what Carol's talking about, the challenge. And I'm watching the challenge. I do a recap every Thursday morning. Sometime after the episode drops, I'll get it posted. I watch it. I think it's interesting when you watch the challenge. And I know this isn't the first year we've had Big Brother people in the house, but it seems like every year you start getting a little more consolidation of the Big Brother people against the challenge people who've been there season after season after season. And I'm personally, as a Big Brother person, I kind of like to see that. And obviously I'm rooting for my Big Brother folks, but yeah, Josh probably spoke up a little more than he needed to, and trying to defend Casey when she really didn't need defending. And there are people in that house that just know how to push buttons, especially Josh's button, and get him all worked up. And I just absolutely don't know how much of it is true, absolute, pure, raw emotion that just builds up on you. I know it's stressful in the challenge house, just like it was in ours. So It very well could be that these buttons actually were pushed. I always do wonder how much of that maybe is a little extra emphasis just for TV and good camera time and all that. I don't know that one way or the other, but yeah, there were certainly some stressful moments in the last episode. Some people getting a little irritated with each other. But yeah, I like seeing, and you hear every episode or every season at least, some of the old challenge people who've been on for season after season say, "Oh, that person, they're part of the Big Brother team. They know how to be ruthless. They know how to be just conniving and sneaky and everything else." So it is funny that all of us go into that game with this kind of target, with this perception that we already have gone through just cutthroat type gameplay, as though the challenge people don't do that every season anyway. But I don't know. But they want to pin that on the Big Brother people, and hey, for the most part, yeah, you do have to do that to play the game itself. Caden said, "You're rooting CT in the challenge." CT, he's one of the. He's not Big Brother, but he's one of the older players, the more mature players. So of course, old Boss Hog, I got to cheer for him. I got to cheer for the older folks in the house, just because some of the other people don't necessarily take them as seriously because of it when it comes to the physical challenges and things like that. So let's see. All right. Let's see. Sorry, guys. I'm going to scoot up and make sure I haven't skipped anything on here real quick. So yeah, I'm still watching the challenge. I'm loving every bit of it. God, they get into it. Those challenges are so incredibly tough. I'd give it everything I had, but I'm not sure if that always would be enough either. Let's see. Go to work, come home, work, wear a mask all the time. That's please keep wearing the mask because it's not getting any better at all. My mom's workplace is COVID infested. She wears her mask tight, very tight and snug. All right, guys, I will tell this, and if you saw my little promo for the show tonight, you saw me wearing my sunglasses, my filters straight from the eye doctor's appointment. I had to go get my eyes checked. I wanted to do it before the end of the year, so I went and got checked today. And I got to say, talking about following COVID ideas or isolation and everything else, these folks did it incredible. As soon as you walked in, they took your temperature. They didn't have you touching anything. They gave me a little sticker that I had to, when I sat down, I had to put the sticker on the back of the seat. And you're not supposed to sit anywhere where there's a sticker. And every, 30 minutes or so, they come in, they clean all the chairs. They've got stickers on them so that you're not exposed to everything. You have to wear your mask from the time you walk in to the time you walk out. Gloves, everyone, sterilize, hand sanitizer. I was incredibly impressed at how professional and how well they did it. So it made me feel a lot better about having to get out and kind of, of course, I'm still leaning forward, looking in the little cameras and all of that while the doctors are working away. But they did everything they could to make it great. So if everyone would do it like that and take it that serious, I think this thing would be over a lot faster. But hey, we'll get there. All right, let's see. Thank you for the screen, Angie. Let's see. All right, I'm trying to catch up, guys. I got a few things to talk about. Yeah, well, let me just talk about since I was at the eye doctors, and I was going to mention that again. Let's see, back in August or September, I miss Big Brother. Mason, I do too. I don't know if y'all saw, but Julie Chin was on Hello Friends, Nicole's podcast with Eric, and they asked her about Celebrity Big Brother, and she said they pushed it, they wanted to do it, but CBS just didn't bite. That I guess they've got all their shows they're trying to get scheduled and everything else. So it sounds like it wasn't as much Big Brother that wasn't wanting to do Celebrity Big Brother. It's just that CBS didn't have the slot to easily put it in there. But that made me feel good. If they're actually were talking about trying to get on the schedule, then surely next summer, assuming people are vaccinated, we're kind of over the hump and way past some of this stuff by then. We're on target for next summer, another season of Big Brother. And I am so happy. I can't wait for it. It's gonna be great. And hopefully next season, it means I can go out and hang around people when they're trying out, if they have a casting call somewhere in this part of the United States and things like that, and actually go out and start talking Big Brother again, because that's a part I miss not getting to do this season. So I'm looking forward to that. Let's see. Love Nicole and Eric. They're such amazing people. Yeah, I agree, Nicole fan. It was they're all I don't know how they get enough hours in the day. They do so many shows in there. They must not sleep because it seems like they're always on, but they're also usually pretty funny when they're doing it as well. I like their show. All right, Mom, miss Survivor terribly. I wish it was back. Yeah, I'm not sure when Survivor's going to come back because of the whole COVID and all of that. And they had to, did they have to shut down? I don't remember if they shut down or they just had not even started the next season of filming. But yeah, I'm going to miss Survivor as well. You know, they could do it here in the States if that's what it took. I'd take them out to Death Valley, drop them off there. There's places here in Texas that they could take them out to that would be every bit as brutal as anything we've seen in Fiji or Africa or anywhere else. And there's places there's places here in Texas that just see if they can survive the mosquitoes. I'm pretty sure the mosquitoes would win against most survivors, but it'd be interesting to watch it here. But yeah, I'm ready for Survivor as well. All right, did I watch The Masked Dancer? Yeah, I watched. Well, did I? No, I don't think I have, Cindy. I watched The Masked Singer, and I watched that whole season. I know The Masked Dancer, and I watched Can You Hear My Voice? Can You See My Voice? I think that's it. With Kim Jong, I think was the host. I watch that show as well. So I watch a lot of the Fox one, but I don't think I've seen The Masked Dancer yet. Got to put that on the list. Talk about hours in the day. Nicole and Eric do their shows. I try to keep up with some of these reality shows, but there's a lot of them out there right now. All right, Survivor hadn't started filming. Alex is saying they can't get to Fiji. There's a rumor they'll do it here if they have to, or in the Dominican Republic. I have heard that, and I think that'd be fine. I don't really care where they do it. In the early parts of Survivor, it was fun seeing them go to a different country every time, but now they just go to Fiji every time. So if they want to do it here, whatever. I can find hot and miserable here just as well as I can on the other side of the world. So that's fine with me. I'm just hoping it's on my TV soon. You and me both. I am ready for it. I did hear Tough as Nails is coming back, which is Phil Keegan's. They take a lot of, well, we talked about it, I think, last week, a bunch of blue-collar manual labor workers for the most part and put them through a lot of challenges and everything. I really like that show. The set was fun. Now I lost my train of thought on what we were going to talk about. The challenge. I don't know. We'll come back to it again. Let's talk a little bit. I usually do it at the very beginning, but I kind of got waylaid here. Let's talk about today in history. A few things going on as well. And meanwhile, I was talking about the eye doctor. I said, oh yeah, all right, that's what it. All right, remind me, guys. I'll get back to Big Brother and the eye doctor and all that. I'm sitting here trying to read my notes, and they dilated my eyes, and I'm still having a little hard time focusing in and out. So it's a little bit of an extra challenge. But I didn't want to miss a Monday night either. Let's see. Phil Keegan. All right, I probably pronounce it wrong every time, Ma, and I'll just apologize right off the bat. He's from New Zealand. He's probably used to people mispronouncing things a little bit. Anyway, we've been watching the Block New Zealand home renovation show that takes place in New Zealand. And I got to say, they speak English, but their accents, Australia's not too hard. New Zealand accents, a little tougher. I find myself missing entire conversations because I just can't quite pick up the accent. I guess I'm just not as used to it. But anyway, all right, let's get back to this day. Not so much in history, but national celebrations, things like that. Did y'all know that today is National Card Playing Day? Yeah, okay. I didn't know there was a National Card Playing Day, but sure enough, there is. So if you got a deck of cards sitting around, go play some cards. In the house, I guess it was about 2 weeks before the end of the season. So I had it for a week, and they had it for an extra week after I got booted. But we actually got a deck of cards in the house, and I was glad to have it. Just as a little bit of a diversion. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the other people in the house, Mickey and Nicole and Holly, to play. You can play four-person hearts, games like that, but they really weren't into it. Holly especially. I don't think she really played cards that much. So we ended up playing more just solitaire as much as anything else, which is okay. Again, that gets a little boring after a while. But I did have fun. One day, while Mickey wasn't paying attention, I took one of the cards out of the deck, like a 7 of clubs, something that you would never really notice. Took a 7 of clubs and hit it just to see if when he played solitaire, if he would still win anyway. And to his benefit, he did. And I asked him how he's doing. He said, I just can't win. And I just really wanted to tell him at that point, say, yeah, it's because I took one of the cards, but I didn't. As I watched him play, and I realized that he really didn't know how to play solitaire in the first place. So he didn't know how to just kind of lay the structure of, how you deal the cards out and how you draw cards. didn't have as much experience as I thought. So he was having a hard time playing solitaire. I asked so much for dominoes while I was in. I wanted to teach everyone how to play 42, which is a game kind of like bridge, and they wouldn't give us the dominoes. Dominoes are big here in Texas because I guess way back in the old days, cards were considered the tool of the devil. So people created dominoes instead because that's so much better, right? But as a result, there's a lot of domino games that were played, and that's what I played in college all the time. Get me out of a lot of trouble. Go across the street so I didn't have to drive anywhere, drink a few beers, play some dominoes, and I could spend all night long, listen to some country music, and could play all night long. All right, Ma saying, I got Cards Against Humanity for Christmas. You've ever played, Cliff? All right, yeah, Ma, I have played, but here's the deal. Oh, and I'm also seeing, Ma, you said you've got have an optic nerve everything messed up. Sorry about that. That sounds not good at all. But yeah, Ma, not only have I played Cards Against Humanity, I have played Cards Against Humanity in the same room and playing with my mother. Yeah. You talking about some uncomfortable stuff? Well, playing with my mother and my kids and my wife. I don't think she was in there playing. She was observing. She knew better than we did. And still no one holds anything back. So you talk about some little awkward moments here and there. But yeah, I've played Cards Against Humanity a few times, and it's fun. But you got to be in the right mood to play that game. And I sure don't want to play it with people from work or people that I only casually know, because you got to be a little out there when you play that game. But yeah, I've played. So congratulations. It's a fun way to spend an evening. All right. All right. So I'm still National Card Day. Yeah. So eventually I told them I'd taken that one card, but then when I got booted out of the house, I didn't take it with me. I wanted to, but I took one of those cards. I took a couple of the dice from the backgammon game, and I hit them. And I don't know how much they even showed that or not, but I hit them as I walked out. I said, guys, they're hidden in the house, but you're going to have to go find them. And eventually I think they found them. I hit them with Orwell in the storage room, and eventually they found them and were able to play the games again. But yeah, card playing day sounds like fun. I love playing hearts as well, Megan, but no one else in the house did. Sharon and I, right when we first got married, we were out in West Texas, and we wanted to play dominoes, but we couldn't find a lot of people out there that played them at the time. So we signed up to take bridge lessons. And I gotta say, the age for playing bridge when we went to those lessons skewed a little higher than we were at the time. And we just didn't really feel, it wasn't so much a young person's game. And so we really never got into it. So I've played a little bridge, but hearts would have been a lot of fun. And we could have figured that out pretty quick. But oh yeah, Sorry's a fun game too. Oh, there's all kinds of board games we could have played, Carl, but again, they wanted us not to have so many games that we were just doing nothing but playing that. They wanted us to still interact and talk to the camera and yell and scream and everything else that makes for good TV. So we got the cards, but that was about it. Bob played the game in health class. Well, you may learn some interesting things, not while you're probably supposed to learn in health class. That's a different kind of education you get if you're playing Cards Against Humanity. All right, so it's National Card Day today. It's also National, and this is a good one. I like this. Today is National Chocolate Candy Day. Every day is Chocolate Candy Day, I think, for me. I'm not huge into potato chips and things like that. I can take it or leave it, but chocolate candies, that's my vice that I always have to pay attention to. And they didn't help in the Big Brother house. I've said before, they had little chocolate candy bars in there that were just addictive. But hey, I've got National Chocolate Candy Day taken care of, because I got plenty of little chocolate candies and Hershey's Kisses and everything else in my stocking for Christmas. So I'm good. I'm good for a few days. So yeah, enjoy your National Chocolate Day and have fun with that. All right, Carol, Spoons is the best card game, but gets a little violent. With the people in the Big Brother house, it could have gotten way violent. We would have been fighting for those spoons. You get a little ruthless while you're in there. But yeah, we never played spoons, and we probably should have. We were too stressed out. I'm amazed by that point in time, as friendly as we were trying to beat each other. To some degree, I'm amazed that we're even talking to each other too much. You know, Nicole and I, we were talking. Holly and Mickey talk, but those two talking with us too, being polite, but there's just a lot of stress. So it was nice. I love the barbecue Pringles chips. Carl, I love the commercials where they're taking all the different flavors, they're combining them together to get their cheese pizzas or their hamburgers and everything else. So, I can do with a jar of it. The problem with Pringles is, what is it? You can't just eat one, and I absolutely agree with that. That's a tough one. I showed y'all last week. Instead of chips, I'm trying to make my dehydrated banana chips in our air fryer, and those have worked perfectly so far. So I can pretend like they're a little healthier, right? And eat those all the time. All right, so National Card Playing Day today. Also, Chocolate Candies Day. Tomorrow, we've got 2 days. One you may know about, one you may not. First of all, tomorrow is National Hero Day. Now, National Hero Day. Everyone's got a hero, right? I hope everyone's got a hero. I'll tell y'all on here who my hero is. My hero is a guy that you may or may not know, a guy named Lenny Sputnik. Lenny Skutnik, not Sputnik. Lenny Skutnik, 1982, Washington, D.C., an airplane, a big passenger plane, 737, I think, trying to take off. Wings are iced up. It crashes into the Potomac River, which is iced over. Puts a big hole in the ice. But unfortunately, most of the people on that plane did not survive. But there were a few that came to the surface right in the middle of ice. It looked like a scene from the Titanic. A helicopter flies by. They're trying to drop a life ring down. They drag 1 or 2 people off. But there's a flight attendant. She gets drugged about halfway, and she's so just hypothermia and everything else. She lets go of the life ring, and she's just getting ready to go under where the ice and the water is and everything. Lenny Skutnik's just a worker there who was on the shoreline watching with everyone else, and he sees what's happening. He runs and he jumps in the water when no one else will, swims out there, grabs this woman, helps pull her to shore, gets her on shore, saves her life, and gets her on the shore, and then he just kind of leaves. I mean, they found out who he was, but it's just a guy that was willing to do something to help someone else out when no one else was. And he wasn't in it for fame or anything else. He just saw that action had to be made. And that was 1982. So that's 38 years ago. And I will never forget that guy's name, Lenny Skutnik, because he just, I think, symbolized the willingness to go that extra step to help someone else out. So that's my hero, is Lenny Skutnik. And again, I've always saw that guy's name ever since. Let's see, what else? Today, Westminster Abbey constructed. That's pretty cool. How long ago? 1065. Wow. That's what's amazing is I've traveled all over the world, and I've been to places where I've seen things, China, some of their civilization, their buildings, in other places. Azerbaijan has the Maiden's Tower, which is forever old. And then you look at Europe and Westminster Abbey and other places, the history in other parts of the world compared to what we have here in the States and in Canada as well. Everything is so new here compared to other parts of the world. And you never notice it until you get to those other parts of the world and you think, God, we're just little infants when it comes to civilization and the history that we see in other places. So Carol saying, you just made me feel old. Well, Carol, think about the Westminster Abbey and places like that. And hey, we're just a little tiny drop in the ocean as compared to history, right? Have you heard about Among Us? Carl is asking. Yeah, I've played that a few times. I just don't have, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm trying to play on my phone or something. I don't feel like I play that game very well. I sure get killed every time I try to run around. I'm like one of the first persons killed and then body discovered, and I just have to watch the rest of the time. Ma saying Cliff is the hero of my Mondays. Well, thank you, Ma, but maybe it's Monday, so maybe that's a low hurdle of what it takes. But thank you. I appreciate it. All right, let's see. My heroes are responders to the 9/11 towers. Carol, absolutely, and I've seen a few of the movies. The ones who were the first responders, the people in United Flight 93 that fought those guys, even though they knew it was a death sentence for them as well. But there were a lot of heroes on that particular day. And now, unfortunately, we've got a new set of heroes. Those 6 police officers over in Nashville, when they heard that RV and the bomb getting ready to go off, they didn't run away. They went and banged on all the doors and got a lot of people evacuated. And it sounds like the only person killed was the guy that did it. So unfortunately, there's always a need for heroes, and we got 6 new ones. And I do, y'all know me, I do cameos, and people respond in. And the ones I have enjoyed doing most here recently have been the teachers, the nurses, the doctors, all the first responders. That, it's just a different kind of war we've been fighting with this COVID, and all these people who've been willing to get out there and take a certain amount of risk just to try to keep our, the grocery store workers, the ones who have been willing to take those risks in order to keep our infrastructure running and to keep our economy going and everything else. So yeah, 2021 may be the best year, but it certainly has created a whole lot of heroes that deserve a whole lot of credit, and I'm happy to give it to them any chance I get. Again, they're a new kind of soldier. They deserve every bit as much credit as the guys that came back from Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, everywhere else. Moss and Cliff plays among us. Yeah, well, just kind of barely. I learned a long time ago. I started playing video games, and when I was young, I was pretty good. And then I started playing with my son and daughter, and I felt like I was good, but they know their way around those game controls a little better than I did. And eventually I realized that I'm probably never going to beat them. I just try to have to hold my own as best I can. I feel the same way among us. So maybe I just need more practice, but maybe I'm just not that good at to begin with. How did Betsy saying, how did my loofahs fare? Well, the good thing, Betsy, they because it got cold so much later in the year than the past, I actually still have some loofahs out on the vine that pretty much they're drying up right now. But I got a lot of loofahs this year. They grew quite well. I haven't tried to do anything yet as far as cutting them up, put them in the soap, or just send them out as sponges or whatever. I need to do that here shortly. I just got busy doing other things. But now, another successful year of loofahs. I got lots of seeds, so maybe I'm going to be like Johnny Appleseed. I'll be the loofah king and just go all around the Texas area, planting loofahs everywhere I go. And 200 years from now, people are either going to say, "Man, that guy, we got loofahs. We got so many organic soaps, sponges and stuff now. It's all because of that guy 200 years ago." Or they may be saying, "That idiot, he planted these things everywhere, and now it's choked out everything. All we have is loofahs. So tired of seeing loofahs everywhere I go." I know. Who knows? Well, I'm sure someone back in the day thought kudzu was fantastic. Kudzu, for those of you who don't know, grows in the southeast United States. It is just an invasive vine. There's buildings that should have fallen down 50 years ago that they're still held up, not because the wood's still there, but just because the vines still are grown up so much into it that it's just the vines holding up the rest of the building. So I hope loofahs aren't the new kudzu, because I like them. But we'll see. History will tell, right? All right, now, I told y'all about National Heroes Day tomorrow, and yes, that deserves a celebration and everything else. But I kind of buried the lead, and it's not that I forgot. I just wanted to get the other stuff out of the way before I can talk about the really important celebration that's tomorrow, the most important celebration. Tomorrow is my wedding anniversary, and not just any wedding anniversary. It is my 30th wedding anniversary. 30 years ago, I married my beautiful wife, Sharon, and the best decision I ever made. And oh my God, his life would not have been anywhere near as fulfilling. I can't imagine life without. So 30 years I've been married to Sharon, and I don't regret a single bit of it. It was fantastic. I'm so happy. It's a little tough because a couple of years ago, like when I was interviewing or auditioning for Big Brother, I was asked, they said, "Well, Cliff, you've been married now, 28 years. What are you going to do for your 29th wedding anniversary?" And I told them, I said, "Well, it depends on if I win Big Brother or not. If I win Big Brother, we're going to go live it up. Otherwise, we'll see, and we may save it for the 30th wedding anniversary instead." Well, now because of COVID, we're not jet setting off somewhere to do some kind of big celebration. We'll sit here. We'll fix some dinner. We'll have probably candlelight dinner, drink some wine out by the backyard fire, do something like that. But it's going to be a little quiet. We're not going to go off anywhere else. Just it's not quite. We're just not comfortable doing it yet. So, we'll save up the big festivities for 31, 35. I don't know. Maybe we'll just do it from this point on. But it doesn't matter because it really doesn't matter what we're doing as long as the two of us are together. I've missed, as I've traveled around the world, I have missed one or two Christmas, very few Christmases, but I've missed some Easters and 4th of Julys and Labor Days and some of those other holidays. I've never missed a wedding anniversary. And so we're going to be celebrating that tomorrow, and incredibly excited. 30 years, sometimes it seems like I can't remember life beforehand. Sometimes 30 years seems like just snap of a finger, not that long ago, but a perfect life. All right, let's see. Pearls represent purity and is a gift for 30 years. Yeah, Carol, I'm sure that's probably right. You know what? I think my 30th wedding anniversary, I'd settle for a big old Whataburger with Sharon. Two of us go down and get a couple of Whataburgers, some chocolate shakes, and we'd probably be pretty happy. We figured out a while back that it's not so much the gifts or the fancy food or anything. It's just being with each other. And that's what I missed so much about being in the house, was just, yeah, I could talk to her every day on the cameras and all that. But at the same time, I knew every day I was in the house was the day I wasn't with her, the day that I'd never get back. Sometimes things happen and all. And that's why I talked to her as much as I did, though. But yeah, pearls sound pretty good. But not. I'm gonna have to double up next year, I think, because just not as much going on right now. Ma, I remember in May or June. I saw the wedding cake pic you posted somewhere. It was cute. Who said that? Yeah, I think when was that? Oh, you know what I did? I think maybe for my anniversary last year, I posted our wedding photo and the wedding cake photo as well. That was, we looked young in those pictures. We were young in those pictures. So yeah, no, I remember that picture well, Angie. Supposed to go to Tennessee for my grandparents' 50th wedding anniversary, but COVID is a bitch. I was excited to. Yeah, I know it's tough, Ma, but we're all making a few sacrifices, and it's all right. Again, I don't really care who I am as long as I'm with her, and we get that, and we will be happy with it. Parker, how about a trip to Six Flags over Texas for your anniversary, Cliff? All right. Parker, you may be saying that because I used to work at Six Flags, which I did, and I had a blast doing it. But yeah, I don't think that's a wedding anniversary kind of event. I think we'll do that next summer and go up there. But yeah, we'll hold off for right now. It's kind of funny working at Six Flags. I had a blast where it taught me so much. Here I am, a 15, 16-year-old kid, and I'm working in the gift shop, and I was a manager at the age of 17, responsible for a lot of other people and having to order inventory and things like that. It was a fantastic way to get some work ethic and everything else going. But yeah, we're not doing some anniversary. I'll never forget you in the house dancing with her, Betsy, saying, yeah, no, that was me just kind of passing on what I was thinking about and everything. We may we'll turn on the radio and we may do a little country dancing tomorrow night as well. That sounds pretty good. I can handle that. I remember it was Tool. Remember that too? Yeah. Thank you, Ma. Appreciate it. Where are you taking Sharon for your anniversary? Whataburger? Yeah, Angie. No, I'm not going to do that. But again, whatever food. We'll probably stay in. I don't know. Maybe we'll just do our own little fancy feast. We'll put something together here and do it. I don't know. We'll see. Teach you to be able to deal with people. Yeah, absolutely, Carol. Lots of customer service that you dealt with. And I think it did help in terms of dealing with other people. Because here's what a lot of y'all don't understand, Carol, is that before I started working at Six Flags, I was a very shy kid. I couldn't talk. I couldn't stand up at the back of the room, raise my hand. I was incredibly shy. But then when I went to work at Six Flags, I had to. I had to speak up to people. I had to be friendly. I had to smile. And I just learned to develop another side of my personality. And then I just kind of put it into the hyperdrive when I got into the Big Brother house and just had to turn it on just a little bit more. Had fun doing it. But that is the toughest part about Big Brother, that you just 24/7, you got to keep that smile on, the personality and everything else going on. Even when you just want to go crawl into bed, say, just stop talking to me. I'm tired of it. You can't do it because that person may be the one casting the deciding vote somewhere down the road. All right. Let's see what. All right. So we talk. I keep talking about it. I keep forgetting to tell y'all about it. We talked about all the national whatever days and Westminster Abbey as well. The eye doctor. I went there today, got tested. But I want to tell you, and I teased down a little promo. That's why I wanted to make sure I talked about it. The inside the house. Before I went in, I made sure I ordered an extra pair of glasses. I got some prescription sunglasses. I got new contact lenses because, once you get in there, we're told there's no extra ordering, or you bring in everything you need. So I wanted to make sure I had plenty of eyewear and everything else for while I was inside the house. But it was always difficult because I've worn contacts before, but I'd prefer to wear glasses. But obviously some of those challenges, you can't wear glasses. There's just no way. They would never last. And so every time a challenge was announced, we're sitting around inside the Big Brother house, and suddenly we hear Big Brother over the loudspeaker saying, "House guest, head to the storage room, get your costumes. We're getting ready to do a new challenge." Or, "House guest, we'll be heading in the backyard in an hour or so to do a challenge." Things like that. And so immediately Holly, who usually wore glasses as well, Holly and I would both be yelling at the camera saying, "Hey, Big Brother, can we wear glasses, or do we need to put on contact lenses? What's going on here?" And it was always our way of trying to get a little information from Big Brother about what kind of competition it was going to be. Is it, if they came back and said, "Yeah, well, you can wear glasses, no big deal," then you felt more comfortable that it was a not really physical, strenuous type deal. And it's maybe in a booth answering questions, or sitting in the kayak, going down the little fake river, things like that. But if they said, "Well, there's going to be a lot of moving around on here, you may want to consider either contacts or putting a strap on your glasses," things like that. Well, then we knew it was a little more athletic, and we had to be prepared for that. And sometimes they'd come back and they'd say, it's going to be something that you're going to need to read a little bit on. It may not be a whole lot strenuous, but you are going to have to be able to read a little bit. I think OTEV was one of those, which turned out to be a little more strenuous than I really thought based on what I'd heard. But so we always tried to use that as a way just to get a little more information about thinking what maybe was going to come up on the competition. But I remember the very first veto competition we did in that house. I guess for the color wars where we hung on to those logs, it was the same way. We wore contacts because we'd been told that, you may want something that's a little more stable and sturdy. But for the food fight, which is the first veto competition, that's the one that Casey showed up. And we had to catch, tomatoes falling with salad dressing, and they fired the giant meatballs at us, and we had to slide across the table, grab the strawberry. Tough competition, a horrible competition. But we were told, you may want to consider contacts because it's really, you're going to be moving around a lot, and you may be getting a little dirty and everything. So I put my contacts on. The first challenge, if y'all recall, the first one we did was looking up and trying to catch the tomatoes as they fell down with all the salad and dressing and everything. And I didn't catch anything because I didn't see anything. As soon as the salad dressing came pouring down, it wasn't just like a shower head with just a little bit of sprinkle. This was just, they opened up a vat and this stuff pours down. And as soon as it poured down, it hit the goggles that I was wearing, pulled the goggles away from my face, and just drenched my eyes and got all in my contacts. It was brutal. It was horrible. So I couldn't see a thing. Even after it was over, we had a little towel hidden off to the side, and I went and got a towel and tried to wipe myself down, and still my eyes were bothering me so much. I told the producers that I've got to stop for a second, take my contacts out. I can't see anything. And they said, "Yeah, that's fine, Cliff, if you want." So I took my contacts out. So I did the whole rest of that competition without contacts in, which those big old meatballs, they're firing like a cannon at you. I could see those. I can't use that as an excuse on that one. But when I slide across the table and trying to look up and catch those little strawberries falling down, I couldn't even see them until they were about halfway to me, and then I just couldn't respond quick enough. But every challenge, it was always a matter of, oh my gosh, am I going to need contacts or glasses or both? And lots of times I'd take both of them out with me, and very last second, when I saw what the challenge was, I'd either quickly take my contacts out, put my glasses on, or go ahead and stick with the contacts. But it's hard. It's some of those challenges. It's tough when you don't have full vision and you're trying to do those things. The same way with OTEV, trying to read those bottles. I had my contacts in, but still trying to read the bottles where I've got stuff all in my face, where we got sprayed while we were up there talking to the pigeon and all. It was always interesting dealing with the eyesight and everything while we were in there. So just a little background on it. They do give us some heads up one way or the other, but you never know for certain until you actually get out in the backyard and you see what's going on. Ma saying, "I'm scared of contact lenses, always go with glasses." Well, here's the deal. Just a little background for y'all. I used to wear contacts all day long when I was younger, college, when I got out, when I was working out in West Texas. But working out in West Texas in the oil field, it's flat out there. And for lots of places are flat. You get the sand, the dirt blowing, and I would be out working on a job for 48, 72 hours straight, standing up on a rig, working that long and getting all that stuff blowing in my eyes. And I got so much sand that would get up underneath my contacts. I actually scratched up my cornea a little bit, and eventually went to a doctor who said, you just need to lay off the contacts for at least a couple of years, let everything heal up. So I started wearing glasses, and then I just never switched back. And now I'm just a glasses kind of guy. So anyway, there you go. That's my little insight as to why I wear glasses instead of contacts. See, you'll never know what you may learn while you're out here. All right. Betsy said, I don't know how Nicole did it with only glasses. I don't know. Maybe her vision isn't as bad as other people's, and mine isn't horrible. But it just, sometimes when you're trying to watch something coming towards you and all of that, it's a little bit tougher to go. I hope they hide the hot pots and pans. All right, Carol, I missed something on that. Josh Martinez is a big meatball. I bet he's trying to curse you. Josh gets the pans, doesn't he, and bangs them around a little bit. We didn't have that in our season. We didn't have anyone that was so much in someone else's face that they started banging the pans. It may have made it more exciting if we had, but I still remember watching that in the backyard. He got pickle juice and Tabasco juice thrown in his face, and next thing you know, he and Mark are going at it. Josh, it just seems like you can always push his buttons, but he makes for exciting TV, right? All right, let's see. I understand it's just a well-known burger chain down here in the South, Caden. I assume you're talking about Whataburger, and it's good. In-N-Out Burger in Colorado, for those of you who didn't hear, they've got 80 COVID cases that all originated at the 2 In-N-Out burgers there in Pueblo, wherever they are in Colorado. Apparently those were just the hot spots, and they've got like 80 different In-N-Out employees that have all been diagnosed with COVID. So that's not good. That's a little bit tough. All right, imagine winning despite making the whole house angry. Then again, is Big Brother 19. Yeah, but here's the deal, Ma. Josh did the jury management. He did what Paul couldn't do. Paul just seemed a little confident about the way he played the game, whereas Josh, every jury message he was giving to these people as they walk out the door, he's spilling the beans, and Josh did a great job. So I don't know how much of Josh winning was because of his jury management, and how come at the end people just were a little irritated with Paul, thinking maybe he was a little arrogant about the way he played or something else. Maybe a little bit of both, but I'm not going to take anything away from Josh. He played from start to finish, whether you agree with his game or not. Remember the very first challenge, he went and grabbed the golden apple to protect himself and kind of screwed over his team in the process of doing it, but he wasn't afraid to do what it took to win. So I'll give Josh full credit. He deserved that win, I think. Moss and my vision is horrible. I can see I just need my glasses to read stuff. Yeah, I'm the same way. It just gives me headaches if I go too long without it. All right, let's see. Heard nobody likes Paul. I hope that's not the case, Parker. Paul, just like a lot of people in the Big Brother house, people that love Paul, there's people that don't love Paul so much. So a little bit of everything. All right, let's see. Bowie Hog. Hi, Big Brother. Your niece Ellis wanted to see you talk. Howdy, Ellis. How are you? Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Bowie Hogg, my youngest brother. Bowie was the first reality star in the Hogg family. He was on The Apprentice. He got fired by Donald Trump before people were used to being fired by Donald Trump. He was the fourth person fired in there. Bowie got to play with Omarosa and Bill Rancic and some of the old school Apprentice people. So, hey, Bowie, how's it going? Sorry I missed you for Christmas. We did not, as a Christmas celebration. It was just Sharon and I, our two kids, Kelly and Daniel, came over, but we did not go up and see the extended family, just again because of COVID situation. So howdy, Ellis. Howdy, Helen. Hope y'all are doing well. I saw some videos. You got all kinds of toys and everything. So I hope I know y'all had a great Christmas. Hey, thanks, Bowie, for coming out here. Bowie, I didn't figure he'd ever come out. He spent the last 40-something years listening to his bigger brother ramble on and talk and talk and talk. He's heard all the stories. He probably is happy to turn it over to someone else. But hey, thanks for coming out, Bowie. I appreciate it. We had fun. We did Zoom calls on Christmas Day since we couldn't all be together. Y'all know how Zoom calls work. Some people are busy herding cats, chasing kids and all that. Others are watching. Others are having sound issues. Others are so many people squeezed around the camera that you can't make out anything or anyone. But we did the Hogg family Zoom call, and so we still got to celebrate a little a little bit of Christmas anyway with the extended family. All right, Jeffrey. Hi, Cliff. Thanks for your Cliff Notes when you played. That was my favorite time to watch. You gave us a scoop. I tried to, and I almost got burned because of it. I didn't know how loud I was inside that room, and I'll never live it down. But that's okay. Yeah, you've got to be willing to laugh at yourself, or you shouldn't be playing that game. I remember Caitlin Herman when she couldn't solve that puzzle, and I laughed at that. I thought that was, how could you not solve the puzzle? But then during the audition process, I talked to some people who had been involved with Caitlin trying out, and after the show was over, and they were saying, Caitlin, she did the right way. She laughs at herself. She doesn't take it too seriously. She jokes about the puzzle and all of that. And I really gained so much more respect for her when she was able to laugh at herself for some of that and make light of it. And I got to do the same thing, whether it's being overheard, decisions people argue about that I made in the house. You got to just take it the way it is. And even though it was for $500,000, which is nothing to be laughing or not taking seriously, at the end, it's still a game. And you give the best you can. So, yeah. So I thank you. I went in doing those Cliff Notes thinking I was going to try to help out all the fans because that's who I'm a fan as well. I knew what I would have loved to have seen from past seasons from House Guest Talking. It just, I just didn't talk quietly enough. I should have had that microphone right up to my face and been a little more quiet about it. I didn't know, and I don't know why I didn't know, how many people listening in on conversations everywhere I'd go, especially towards the end of the season, people with their ears up against doors and trying to listen in and all that. And yes, you heard something. I mean, obviously, we got burned because Mickey overheard Tommy and Nicole and I talking at the end, so it paid off in some ways. But there are also people that just got burned by it because someone would walk out the door and you walk out the door and there's some person suddenly looking for their socks right next to the door. It doesn't. People know what you're up to, and sometimes they hold it against you. But there are a lot of people listening to a lot of doors, and it was tough in that house. Those of you who may not realize, the RV room, that door would not ever close all the way. It was a squeaky door. You couldn't really slam it shut. There was always a little crack along the sides. It was incredibly easy for someone just to come in and put their ear up against that door and hear what's going on. I actually tried once, and I don't know if the cameras ever caught me. I was in the storage room, and there were people in the Target room. I think it was the day I was evicted, and I battled back, day 30. I could hear people going into the Target, or see people going to the Target room, then coming out, and suddenly they aren't looking at me. So I know something's going on. So when a few people walked back there, I actually walked into the storage room, grabbed a glass, and held a glass up to the door to see if I could overhear what was going on from inside the storage room. And if it had worked, I would have been hanging out. I'd been like Tony from Survivor. That would have been my spy's nest, just in the storage room all the time. And I could hear him talking, but it's like the little character from the Charlie Brown, the Peanuts show. I could hear him talking, but I couldn't make out the individual words, so it didn't work out for me. But otherwise, I would have been in there all the time listening to all the conversations. But certainly there was a lot of eavesdropping going on throughout that whole season. And maybe it happens every year. I just don't remember seeing it in past seasons as much as I saw this season. Ma, see, they love the shout outs at their bedtime. Well, good, Bowie. Hey, leave it to their Uncle Cliff. If you want to order a cameo from me, Bowie, I'll put cameos together for Helen and Ellis as well. No, I'm glad that they. I actually watched a video right after I got out of the house of Helen and Ellis, my two little nieces, watching me inside the house, watching on TV as I'm sitting there. I don't remember what I'm doing. Maybe that's why I'm doing something goofy, dancing or twerking, or I think I'm dancing, and they're watching that. It's funny because now they think it's kind of cool. By the time they're in grade school or whatever, in another 10 years, they're probably gonna say, "Yeah, we don't know that guy. He's that crazy uncle that no one in his family talks about. Yeah, he went on some show that we don't even know back in the day, but yeah, we don't talk about Uncle Cliff. He's the goofy one in the family." Trust me, the Hog family has a lot of goofy people in the family. We're just all our own people. We'll just leave it at that. We all have fun. Christmas and Thanksgivings with the Hog family. I talked Festivus last week and this displaying the feats of challenge after dinner. In the Hog household, we've displayed feats of challenge and stupidity for the last 20 or 30 years. It's nothing for us to have big wrestling tournaments in the middle of the living room, or a contest to see who can stuff the most marshmallows in their mouth, who can stuff the most pieces of bubble gum in their mouth at one time, which was won by my son Daniel. We always have some amazing feats of incredible goofiness that takes place in the Hog household. I have a whole YouTube channel just on goofy things that are going. Maybe once COVID's over, I'm heading back up there. My family doesn't know what they're getting into now that I do YouTubes and all that. I'll just videotape everything, and y'all can all see exactly what goes on. Twerking. Hold up, Cliff. Yeah, Ma, I did. Well, I don't know if they really. I was asked to twerk. I'm not sure anyone who actually does it would consider what I did to be twerking. My body doesn't move like that anymore. I don't know if it ever moved like that, and maybe that's not a bad thing. But yes, in the interest of trying to fit in with the other people in that house, I was willing to absolutely embarrass myself on national TV in attempting to twerk. And yeah, did I embarrass myself a little bit? But I think I embarrassed my kids a whole lot more than me. I feel so sorry for my two kids. I mean, they were sitting there cheering me on and all that. But I know there's times where they said, "Oh God, Dad, what are you doing? Why would you possibly do that, Dad, on national TV?" So yeah, I've spent a long time perfecting the art of embarrassing my kids, and I think I've become pretty good at it, if I do say so myself, based on what they tell me. So anyway, yeah, that was twerking is a very loose definition of what I was doing inside that house. All right, I'm still trying. You would think after the eye doctor, it'd been a few hours, but yeah, it was hilarious. I liked Rick Devin so much. I've talked to Rick. I felt like Rick was the older guy. Rick had to battle back in his season as well. So I felt like I had a lot in common with Rick. So I've talked to him just, Twitter, DMs and things like that a few times. I was wanting to meet Rick at the Hearts of Reality, and I wasn't able to do it because I wasn't able to make the trip. I don't think he made it either, but I want to track Rick down one of these days and just talk about his experiences and compare them to my own. Let's see. Festivus. Yeah, Cindy, I'm Festivus for the rest of us. All right. Objective met, embarrass the kids. Carol, I think I did that on day number 2 or 3. It didn't take long. I warned my kids going in. I said, you know what? I'm going to try to be who I am, but I also have to try to fit in. So yeah, just be prepared. And they said, no, do what you have to do, Dad. I couldn't hear them yelling at the TV set, and it's probably just as well. But that's all right. That's trying to fit in. All right. I hope our 65-year-old stepfather never goes on reality television. No, you can't say that, Parker. If he goes on TV, you got to say, man, go for it. But prove who you are. Go out there and you be you and give it 100% and everything else. I went in. I'm one of those. I said, when I play this game, if I'm going to go into the house, I got to play it hardcore. I can't go halfway. I got to give it everything. And if that means sometimes doing things a little silly, then by God, I'll do it. They've had in past seasons. What would you do to win a veto? Would you go on slop for the rest of the season? Would you shave your head? Would you, I don't know what else. Would you run around in a tutu for the rest of the season? My answer would have been, yeah, everything. Whatever it takes. You can shave my head. You can give me funky little tattoos or whatever. I would have done whatever it took inside the Big Brother, because it's a once in a lifetime chance. Yeah, some people it's more than that, but you got to assume it's your one shot at something like that. So you do whatever it takes. If that means a little bit of twerking, if that means a little bit of acting silly on the camera, yeah, you do it. And you don't think twice. And Parker, I hope your 65-year-old stepdad gets in there, and I hope the first thing he does is say, Parker, this one's for you, as he does some kind of goofy dancing and just, you better just be sitting on our TV and say, all right, well, that's all right. Have fun during your experience. All right, let's see. We're getting close to the end. God, it goes so fast again. Jeffrey, curious, how much did production tell house guests what to say and do to create drama? It seems Big Brother's gotten faker by the year. Trust me, Jeffrey, and I know a lot of people won't ever believe me when I say they don't. They do not tell us what to say. They don't tell us drama to create. And I know you're calling it fake. It's not. It truly is not. Now, you got to realize, when we go into a diary room, we may talk for 2 hours. And of that 2 hours, maybe they grab 2 or 3 minutes that they're going to put on the TV show. So certainly when you can get phrased questions, what would you do if so-and-so did this to you? What would you do if so-and-so didn't do this to you? And ask you to consider both scenarios. And then you talk about it, and then they put whatever they want on there to help spin a story. But from within the house, there's no drama that was scripted or written or anything else. No one ever whispered in my ear, hey, you need to go do this, or hey, Christy, have you thought Cliff may be talking about you? There wasn't any of that kind of stuff. It truly is just, you put 16 people in a house, everyone's fighting for $500K. We're all slightly different people with different backgrounds, experiences. You're going to create stress and drama just by virtue of it being such an important game that we're playing. So you just have to trust me. There was no script whatsoever. The closest thing to a script ever was, y'all have seen in diary rooms where we had to give our little summaries of, in this challenge, you have to run across a beam and do, that stuff. We were asked to summarize and things like that to explain to the viewers what the competition was. And so that was kind of, you go back and forth with a little bit of a very succinct description. But other than that, it just didn't take place. It was just all organically produced because of stress and happy people and upset people and people feeling betrayed and people feeling arrogant because they're not being betrayed. That's all. It's all true. It's just not fake. Trust me. Just trust me on it. All right, guys, with that, all right, we got some of the points I wanted to talk about, and we'll handle the rest a little bit later as well. But thank you, Caden. Gotta go. Fun watching Cliff. Have a great night. Love from Louisiana. Like Caden, I love my Louisiana. Southwest Louisiana. I worked in Lafayette for a while. I'd love to go back. I'll go back and get me some boudin. That's what I want to do. Carol said, what shocks me so loyal people when there's money up for grabs? It's a game. You do what you have to do, whether you're playing Big Brother, whether you're playing Monopoly at home. At the end of the day, you just have to treat it as that. But when you got that money up for grabs, there are some people that take everything you do very personally as a result of it. I tried not to ever do that, but there's certainly some people that do that. And yes, there are people that are animals and forget their morals for money, but I'm not going to fault them for doing that because they're trying to play the game. And we're told going in, there's only very few rules within Big Brother, and you don't have to be honest or have integrity or anything else to win the money, and that's okay too. All right, guys, we're going to shut down. I hope y'all have I hope you have a fantastic Christmas. I hope you have a fantastic New Year's. Next time I talk to you, it's going to be 2021. Woo! Guys, y'all have a great New Year's celebration. Stay safe. Let me finish it off by saying SKD 143. I love my wife. 30-year anniversary. I love my wife so much. The best 30 years of my life. I love my kids, and I love all the fellow Big Brother and reality TV fans. Y'all make it so much fun out here. So thank you so much. And again, challenge will be out on Wednesday. I'll drop the recap of the next episode soon after that. And in between, if y'all got any questions, shoot me a question on DM. I'm always happy to chat Big Brother. Y'all have a great one, guys. Happy New Year. Hey, it's going to be another year before I talk to y'all again. Isn't that the joke? All right, guys. Happy 2021. See y'all then. Bye.